Friends, we can all see that many white bloggers have millions of followers. Please support me too, because my followers are still few. Black bloggers also deserve to be famous. My friends, let's unite and lift each other up. Please press subscribe button and like. In the affluent neighborhood of Maplewood Heights, the sun dipped low, casting long shadows on the manicured lawns. Naomi Carter, a tall black woman with an air of quiet confidence, strolled home from the grocery store, her brown paper bag swinging gently at her side. She wore olive green cargo pants and a simple white tank top, her hair pulled back in a neat bun. It was just another day, or so she thought. "Hey, you there! Stop!" The voice was sharp, laced with authority. Naomi paused, her heart racing slightly as she turned to face the source. Two police officers in navy uniforms approached her, their hands hovering near their holsters. Behind them, a patrol car's lights flashed, painting the serene street in chaotic colors. "What seems to be the problem, officers?" Naomi asked, her voice calm yet firm, as if she were inquiring about a misplaced package. The taller officer, Sergeant Mark Holbrook, sneered. "We received a call about a suspicious person in the area. You fit the description." Naomi blinked, processing the absurdity of the accusation. "A suspicious person carrying groceries?" she replied, raising an eyebrow. Deputy Kyle Rohr, the second officer, chuckled derisively. "These homes cost more than you'll see in a lifetime. What are you really doing here?" Naomi stood her ground, her dark eyes steady. A small crowd began to gather, neighbors peeking through blinds and whispering among themselves. She could feel their eyes on her, but she refused to show any sign of fear. "Do you have ID?" Holbrook demanded, stepping closer. "Better yet, what's your reason for being in this neighborhood? Loitering is illegal, you know." Naomi tilted her head, her calm demeanor only fueling Holbrook's anger. "I don't recall needing permission to walk on a public street. Hands where I can see them." Holbrook barked, puffing up his chest. With a soft sigh, Naomi placed her grocery bag on the ground and raised her hands, palms open. "Better?" she asked, her tone dripping with sarcasm. Rohr smirked. "Knew you'd fall in line sooner or later." As Holbrook circled her like a predator, Naomi felt a shift within her. "What's in your pockets? Drugs? Stolen property?" he taunted. "What I was planning was dinner," she replied, her voice steady. Holbrook lunged forward, grabbing her wrist roughly. That was the moment everything changed. Naomi's body stiffened, her jaw clenched. For the first time, her expression cracked, not with fear, but with something colder, something dangerous. "I'd suggest you let go," she said slowly, her voice dropping an octave, but Holbrook tightened his grip. "What are you going to do about it?" In less than a heartbeat, Naomi answered. Her movements were a blur, precise practice merciless. She twisted her wrist, breaking free from his grip, and swept his legs out from under him. Holbrook hit the pavement with a grunt, his gun clattering uselessly to the side. Gasps erupted from the crowd. Rohr fumbled for his baton. But before he could swing, Naomi sidestepped and slammed her elbow into his chest, sending him stumbling backward. "You crazy?" he wheezed, but Naomi wasn't finished. In seconds, both men were face down on the pavement, her knee pressing into Holbrook's back while she twisted Rohr's arm at an angle that made him groan in pain. With military precision, she bound them together with the rope they had brought for makeshift restraints. The crowd was no longer silent. Phones were out recording. Whispers turned to disbelief. "What the hell are you?" Holbrook growled, red-faced and struggling. Naomi leaned close, her voice low and steady. The wrong woman to mess with. Just then, a third officer arrived, Officer Brent Maltz. His patrol car screeched to a halt, lights flashing, siren wailing. He jumped out, hand hovering near his weapon, only to freeze at the sight before him. His fellow officers restrained on the ground, a black woman standing over him like a soldier who had just won a war. "What, Naomi Carter?" Malloy's voice cracked with disbelief. Naomi slowly rose to her feet, brushing the dust off her cargo pants. "You know her," Holbrook barked. Humiliated, Malloy's face went pale. "She's not just anyone. She's a retired Navy SEAL. One of the best there ever was." A ripple of shock tore through the crowd. The whispers turned into gasps. They hadn't just profiled another civilian. They had disrespected someone who had faced war zones and carried honors they couldn't dream of earning. Naomi picked up her grocery bag, calm as ever. "Next time, remember, respect is earned, not assumed," she said, her voice steady. The sirens wailed louder in the distance as backup arrived. More squad cars pulled in, their flashing lights bouncing off the polished windows of suburban homes. Neighbors leaned farther out of doorways, phones still recording, whispers turning into open chatter. Captain Raymond Vickers stepped out of a black SUV, his expression hardening at the sight of his officers tied up like captured animals. "What the hell is going on here?" he barked. Holbrook lifted his head, desperate. "Captain, she assaulted us. We were conducting a lawful stop." Naomi's laugh cut him off. "Lawful? You stopped me for walking while black. You demanded I prove I belonged here. That wasn't a stop. That was a show of power." The crowd erupted in murmurs, some nodding in agreement. Vickers stiffened, realizing he was losing control. "Untie them now," he ordered. Naomi didn't move. "Not until you answer one question. When your men pull someone over and humiliate them in public, do you call that lawful?" Silence fell over the crowd. Vickers opened his mouth, but Naomi didn't give him the chance. She pulled out a small leather badge holder, flipping it open to reveal a gleaming gold emblem. "I served this country for 20 years. I bled in deserts you've never seen. And yet, right here in the country I nearly died for, 2 officers decided I was nothing but a suspicious person." The weight of her truth pressed heavy on every shoulder. Vickers's lips thinned and he repeated his order, but this time his voice lacked conviction. Naomi crouched, loosened the ropes, and stood back. Holbrook scrambled to his feet, humiliated. "This isn't over," he muttered. "Oh, it's over. You just don't know it yet," Naomi replied, her eyes blazing. The crowd erupted in cheers, slow and deliberate, the sound of approval and solidarity. Vickers signaled his men to retreat, knowing this battle was lost. Naomi picked up her grocery bag again, ready to leave when a small voice broke through the noise. "Miss Carter?" A young boy stood on the sidewalk, eyes wide with awe. "My mom says you were a soldier." Naomi knelt slightly, meeting his gaze. "I still am," she said softly. "But not every battle needs bullets. Sometimes you win just by standing." With that, she walked away, the crowd parting like water. For the first time since moving to Maplewood Heights, Naomi Carter wasn't invisible. She was a reminder, a warning, a story that would echo far beyond that street as she walked home. Her boots echoed against the pavement, her figure steady against the setting sun, and her last words, "Respect is earned, not assumed," hung in the air long after she was gone, a scar carved into the heart of Maplewood Heights. Do you want to know the fate of the heroes? Please post part 2. Subscribe to the channel and continue watching. Your opinion and support are important to me. Leave it in the comments. Thank you.